Hello, and welcome to the Apollo Nemesis Briefing. I'm Professor James Pembroke, Director of the Institute, founder of its more scandalous coffee machine debates, and your host for what we modestly call Civilization's Post-Performance Analysis. For those new to us, the Apollo Nemesis Institute is a conceptual think tank for cultural, sociological, philosophical, economic, and scientific commentary. Founded to study how reason breeds its own consequences and how civilization's light inevitably casts a shadow. We were founded for one purpose, to study the moral physics of modern life, how reason breeds its own consequences and how civilization, with admirable consistency, keeps tripping over its own stage lights. Our motto is simple: lux, ratio, retributio, light, reason, redress. In other words, we shine the lamp, we examine the mechanism, and when necessary, we politely deliver the invoice. And few performances have been more invoice-worthy than the one we witnessed last week in Sharm el-Sheikh. So, picture the scene. Sharm el-Sheikh, October 13th, 2025. The Peace Summit for Gaza. Trump at the podium, cameras everywhere, lights bouncing off the gold trim. He pauses mid-speech and asks, half to the room, half to himself, "Where is the United Kingdom?" And right behind him there's Keir Starmer, a lawyer's posture, polite smile, ready to be included. He answers, "I'm right behind you." Trump gestures, "Come up here, is everything going good?" Starmer takes a few cautious steps forward, and Trump turns back to his notes, just keeps talking. 3 seconds of silence, that's all it took. 3 seconds to make Britain the world's meme of the week. Within an hour, the clip was everywhere. Reuters Events Live uploaded it, and the numbers exploded. About more than 1 million views before lunch. The tabloids pounced. The Sun called it painfully awkward. The Guardian said humiliating. The Independent went for schoolboy-like. And social media? It turned it into performance art. Captions like "When you think it's your turn to speak" or "The Special Relationship 2025 edition." Now, Trump's been playing this game for years. For him, diplomacy isn't negotiation, it's stagecraft. He measures power in applause lines and camera angles. Every handshake, every pause, every "come up here" is part of the choreography. Starmer, on the other hand, still plays by the old rulebook: sincerity, composure, cooperation. Those things work in a courtroom. They don't work on a stage designed for television. What looked like courtesy to him looked like submission to everyone else. It's the oldest rule in theatre: never step into another actor's spotlight unless you're invited twice. Starmer stepped once. Trump, of course, didn't share the scene. Back home, Britain watched through its fingers. The reaction was instant and merciless. It wasn't just laughter, it was recognition, because in a way, the image felt familiar. The polite, well-meaning Brit stepping forward to share the moment, only to realise the moment already belongs to someone else. That's what stung. Not the snub itself, but the accuracy of the metaphor. And here's where it gets interesting. In the old world, diplomacy was measured in treaties, troops, and trade. Now it's optics. The picture is the policy. Trump knows that. Starmer doesn't, not yet. He's a man trained to argue cases, not choreograph cameras, which makes him exactly the kind of politician who still believes politics is about words, when increasingly it's about images. In policy terms, the moment means nothing. No rift, no fallout. The UK's still part of the peace framework. The State Department still smiles politely. But symbolically, that 3-second clip reinforced a story Britain's been struggling to shake, that we're no longer the leading actor, we're the steady supporting role. Maybe that's why people couldn't stop watching. They weren't laughing at Starmer. They were watching Britain, realising the spotlight's not ours anymore. If there's a lesson here, it's not stand up to Trump, it's learn the choreography. In a world where every gesture is a message and every silence a meme, composure beats complaint. A wry smile would have flipped humiliation into humour, a little irony, and the whole thing might have belonged to him instead. Because in modern politics, the real humiliation isn't stepping into someone else's spotlight. It's forgetting that these days. The spotlight is the story. And there we have it. 3 seconds of silence and an entire nation's posture laid bare. In the theatre of world politics, every gesture is a confession, every pause an epitaph. For Britain, the lesson is not to speak louder, but to learn the choreography. A well-timed smile can outmaneuver 1,000 policy papers. Irony, deployed correctly, is a diplomatic weapon. Perhaps next time we'll remember that in the age of optics, the world doesn't listen, it watches. You've been listening to the Apollo Nemesis Briefing, where irony remains a public service and truth occasionally slips past the censors disguised as wit. If you enjoyed today's analysis, do what all good civilizations do, overthink it, share it, and pretend you already knew. I'm Professor James Pembroke. Until next time, Lux, Ratio, Retributio, good night.